have come to explore is the small gold mining town called St Bathans, still in central Otago, and just like the other small towns that we have explored, it is steeped in gold mining history. So we've come here and we're staying at the St Bathans Domain, which is run and operated by DOC, Department of Conservation, and it's free to stay, and there are no limits on how long you can stay for. Dogs are allowed, which some people would be very pleased to know, and it's a very large flat area. And when we arrived, it was empty, so we spent our first night here on our own. So it was so quiet and such a beautiful sunset as well. So the domain used to be used for the annual picnic for all the miners and their families way back in the late 1800s, and that's also where the annual rugby game used to be held. So a little bit of history even with the domain. So it's about a 500 metre, 15-minute walk through to the Blue Lake. Now the Blue Lake is a man-made lake, and if any of you have watched my video on Pinder's Pond, it is made the same way. So it's from elevation sluicing, where they dug down deep into the ground to find the gold, and then they lifted up all the sluicing in the rocks with big buckets. So the Blue Lake wasn't always called the Blue Lake because it was never used to be a lake. So it is actually the site of a 120 metre high Kildare Hill, and the Irishmen actually named it after one of their hometown back in Ireland, and they worked steadily away on it, whittling it down and sluicing it down to extract the gold, and so it became a very big deep pit in the ground. Now you have three different options in which to walk around. So this one that does a small loop beside the Blue Lake is, as I said, only 500 metres to get to, and then there's a very well formed loop track. There is a longer track that you can do around the lake, which will take you about an hour and a half to 2 hours, or you can carry on walking through to the township of St Bathans. So St Bathans, formerly known as Dunstan Creek. It's a great place to explore, and looking forward to doing more of it. So we've awoken to a glorious day here in St Bathans, and a typical central Otago day where it is going to be a scorcher. So we've jumped on our bikes, and we are using a very informative and trusty good old fashioned flyer, nothing online, which tells us a little bit of history about all the buildings. So we're just cycling along and popping in to see them. So the church behind me was built, I think, back in the 1880s, and it's the first prefabricated building in New Zealand. Nothing fancy, built for purpose. Quite a history behind it. So St Bathans, back in the mining boom, it was home to about 1,000 miners, but because there were about 3 or 4 other mines in the location around here, the surrounding areas, there were also another 1,000, and information says that where, of course, there are miners, what is there? Hotels. So there were 15 hotels here in St Bathans, with just the one remaining, of course, the famous Vulcan Hotel. Quite a busy place. So the Vulcan Hotel behind me, this is what St Bathans is probably more commonly known for, formerly the Ballarat Hotel. It was initially built out of corrugated iron and then rebuilt using the stone that you see today in 1882. And rumour has it that there is a ghost of a prostitute who was murdered here walking the halls. I'm not sure whether we'll see any prostitutes walking the halls today.